Anybody else see that weird light last night?
What weird light?
The wind was blowing all crazy. Starbuck was freaked out and barking.
Could have been lights from a helicopter.
Or a UFO. Aliens.
That's a look at The End of Oak Street, which is out in movie theaters today. The film sees a family band together after their neighborhood gets transported to a prehistoric land filled with dinosaurs. It stars Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor. It's the latest project from director David Robert Mitchell, who is best known for the breakout horror hit It Follows. And the CBC's Jackson Weaver is here to share with us his thoughts on this. Okay, so give us a rundown first about The End of Oak Street. What is it about?
I mean, you did a really good job explaining the plot. We were talking a little bit before the camera started rolling on the difference between the horror and action. That's definitely a crossroads that this film exists at. Now, as you mentioned, this is about a family. They're in the 1980s. There's Denise, played by Anne Hathaway. She is kind of stuck in a not loveless marriage, but a struggling marriage. She wants to be a writer. Her husband's not supporting her. Then we also have the two kids in this film as well. There's Brian, played by Christian Convery. He's, boy next door. He loves his dog. He has a crush on the neighborhood girl. We also have his older sister, Audrey, played by Maisie Stella. Now, side note, CBC, both those last two names, Canadian kids. Maisie Stella, you may know her from the band Lennon and Maisie. Christian Convery, you might know him from Sweet Tooth. That family comes together. They're having all these problems. Then another big problem comes in, obviously transported back to the late Jurassic. And it does have, the Jurassic Park elements. It does have the big action-y monster elements, but it does definitely have some bleak elements, some It Follows-esque elements. As you mentioned, David Robert Mitchell, the director, J.J. Abrams is the producer, the mystery, the Cloverfield of it all. So there's a lot going on in this, and it is definitely being advertised as, the must-see event film of the summer.
Okay, so on that note then, I mean, we're kind of running out of time, right? 2 weeks until the end of summer, a little bit more than that, right? But so can it be considered one of the summer blockbusters? Yeah,
I mean, I'll get to a little bit more of that drama element, but we have a lot of dinosaurs running around in this. Pterodactyls, theropods, sauropods, and get some odd behavior out of them. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm sure after the weekend runs on, you'll be spoiled as to a weird dinosaur thing that happens in this movie. But outside of that, a lot of action. We have a clip here, and you can see what I mean by, I think the Spielberg-ness of it and also the high-stakes action of it. The director himself said it's like if Hitchcock made a dinosaur movie, it would be this movie. So let's see if he's right. Let's take a watch at The End of Oak Street.
Denise! Get out of there, run!
So I see you shaking your head. It's a little freaky, it's a little gory, and there's definitely some big teeth, big claws going on. That is really what we're ping-ponging back and forth in this film. So if you're really into the action, the high stakes, you're gripping your armrests in the theater, it definitely delivers on that action. Although if we're going to the other side of this discussion, the other side of that crossroads I was talking about, the drama, it might struggle a bit in that element.
Okay, so you mentioned that you didn't drink a full glass of Haterade right before this hit. So tell me a little bit, though. You may have had a sip. What are the issues with this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a reputation as being a little bit of a hater. I don't want to be too much of a hater. This is fun. I did have fun, but everyone is comparing this film, and I think understandably so. From a conceptual point, this was designed to be what this movie is aping, is Spielberg, the Amblin films, the Jaws, the Jurassic Park, the 80s nostalgia, the kids on bikes solving mysteries even makes a kind of a thematic introduction in this film. And when it comes to comparing it to that element, I think that's really where it falls flat. The first 15 minutes of this movie really introduces all of the backstories of these characters, the secrets they're hiding from one another, the foreshadowing of how those characters will develop, and then it's completely abandoned moving beyond that point. All of the cinematography, the shots, if you're a film nerd like me, the split diopter shots, the dolly zooms, the shaky cam, that all, even if you don't know what those things are called, that's the split diopter on the screen there, you'll see it and you'll be like, I've seen that before. This reminds me of Spielberg. But Spielberg used those intentionally for real reasons, and also, more importantly, his films had a point, a purpose, a lens through which all of those elements were viewed. The paranoia, the hubris involved in Jaws, the xenophobia, alien, E.T., extraterrestrials. These are purposes that are imbued into the writing that I think this film is really missing. It's just about here's a dinosaur, here's a chase, here's a high-stakes moment with characters that become more and more surface as the film goes on, and things feel more and more disjointed for the same reason as the time goes on. I didn't hate this film. I was sitting next to somebody else who really loves film, and they're like, I don't get it, but I was just looking at my watch the whole time. I didn't care about these characters. And I think that misunderstanding of what made Spielberg great is why some people might be disconnected from this, is why they'll see kind of the vision, the vibe, the aesthetics that they know and love, but don't connect to it at as deep a level as they would for a real Spielberg film. So for those reasons, it's not my favorite, and even in an action film, I think you want a little bit more deep writing or intentional writing, which I think this is not necessarily going to be imbued with. But all that said, there's still a lot of dinosaurs, and if you like a lot of dinosaurs, you got that.
Oh, my son does, but he's 2.5,
Yes.
so he's not watching
Oh,
this.
no.
Okay, so what I'm getting from you is no hate, no love. What is your rating?
It's right down the middle. I have a star rating. I think you might even be able to guess what I gave it here. Yeah, 3 out of 5. Not terrible, not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I just think that some people will be left wanting a little bit, even if they do have that good action element.
Okay, Jackson, thanks for this. That's
Thank
the
you.
CBC's Jackson Weaver.